Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I am going to show you how I make shrimp couscous. So this is a copycat version of, I think it's an immersion of Simply Green and Green Grill House couscous. I mean, I love the two couscous, so I took the things that I love about both of them and merged it into one. So today I'm going to show you how to make this amazing shrimp couscous. Yeah, so let's go. Now these are all the items that you need for to make this couscous. I will walk you through each item one after the other, so you don't have to worry. So yeah, let's go. First item is couscous. Obviously, that's the main girly of the show. So I'm using this quick and easy couscous. A lot of people swear that they don't like couscous until they eat my couscous. So yeah, you need couscous. Now, the next item on the list is shrimp. The reason why I use shrimp is it is super flavorful and it pairs really well with couscous. Now you need some garlic. Of course, everyone knows I love garlic. You need some carrot. Notice how thinly I sliced the carrot. You need some green beans. Notice how thinly I sliced that as well. And of course, you need butter to flavor the entire thing. Butter is absolutely important. Then you need some mixed bell peppers. You can just use one color if that's what you have. Then you'd also need some soy sauce for some flavoring and color as well. You can use dark or light soy sauce, it doesn't matter, just use soy sauce. You can use you also need some scotch bonnet peppers. You also need some vegetable oil to prevent the butter from burning. Then you need black pepper to season the shrimp. You also need some salt to season everything. Then the star of the show, which is raisin. This adds a sweetness to this meal. Then you need onion. I like to cut my onion in two ways. This is for the later part of the cooking, so almost like a garnish, and then this is to cook the couscous. Then you need spring onions just for garnish. Now let's get on with the cooking. Now the first thing I like to do is to toast up my couscous. This step is absolutely not necessary, but it adds a nutty flavor to the couscous. You can do this technique if you want to eat plain couscous, but I like to do this for stir fry couscous. You don't need to toast this for a long time, just about 1 minute on medium to low heat works just fine. Or you can toast this for about 1 to 2 minutes, sorry, on low medium heat, and it works just fine. You will hear it popping and crackling and things like that, but it's totally fine. And I must say that this is also the way that Moroccans treat couscous before they soak it in water. It just adds a nuttiness, some sort of deep nutty flavor to the couscous. Like I said, you don't need to do this method. You can just straight up cook your couscous, but I've tried this so many times and I prefer to toast up my couscous before I start to cook it. Now once this doesn't need to change color, but once you've gotten it to about a minute or two, set that aside and then transfer that to a bowl, just like so. Like I said, you don't need to burn the couscous, just cook this on medium to low heat for about a minute or two and it is fine. You can push it further, but I just like to toast it up just for a minute or two and it is okay. Now once you've added the couscous to the bowl, go ahead, and I like to sort of make sure that I cover it in vegetable oil, and then I use a fork to stir that together. I use a spoon, so I don't know why I said use a fork. Use a spoon to stir it together, just like so. Make sure that all the grains, it's coated, that you've coated it properly. Just continue to stir it until you are sure. Even when you are sure, stir it some more. So it's almost like greasing a pan. So just grease it, grease the couscous or the grains just to make sure that it's properly coated. Now once you're sure it's got properly coated, I sort of use my fork to level it so that when I add water to it, some parts it's not submerged, and I sort of just level it and make sure that everything is submerged. So this part of adding water, I like to think of it like I'm making eba. I don't know if that makes sense. So once you add your water, allow that to sit for about a minute or two, then uncover it, and then simply just fluff it with a fork. Couscous is super ready to it's super easy and quick to make, so I love it, especially days that I am so tired and I don't want to start boiling rice. Couscous is just one of my to-go things to just pick up and make. So just continue to fluff this until it's all separated. You don't necessarily need to completely separate it at this stage since you're still going to stir fry it, but just do as much as you can. Fluff it as much as you can. Now once you're done fluffing it, you go ahead and set that aside, and into a clean pan add some butter. Use good quality butter. The butter is for flavoring, and the vegetable oil is to stop the butter from burning. We need all that flavor, that fatty flavor from butter. Now allow that to melt, and then go ahead and add your shrimp. You can use prawns. The reason why I like to use shrimp, you can use any seafood really, but the reason why I like to use shrimp, you can also use beef, if I might add. You can use beef, you can use chicken, but I like to use shrimp. And the reason why I like to use shrimp is because it has a strong flavor. The reason why I like to use seafood, shrimp, prawn, it has a strong flavor that pairs really well with couscous and just overtakes the flavor of it all. I mean, it's not shrimp couscous without shrimp anyway. So yeah, I just love the flavor of shrimp in this couscous. I'll also show you how to make beef couscous, but let's concentrate on this one. Anyway, go ahead and season with black pepper, salt, and garlic, and try not to overcook your shrimp. But the trick here is I like to undercook my shrimp just by a few seconds, and then set that aside. I just don't like to overcook my shrimp. Now once you start to cook your shrimp, you notice that it sort of starts to release some of that juice, and once it starts to release some of that juice, I like to set it aside because we need that juice for cooking the couscous later on. Don't worry, I'll show you when to add this shrimp, and you'd understand what I mean. Now once the couscous has just turned pink on the other side, or on one side, I like to just almost immediately take it out because I don't want it to overcook. It's still going to finish up cooking in the pan, so yeah. But so just go ahead and take that aside, just like so. See how beautiful my shrimp looks. It looks so good. I'll go ahead and set this aside, but here's also the trick: do not wash your pan. So yeah, all that flavor is going to we're going to use it to stir fry our couscous. Now into a pan add another set of butter and vegetable oil. Again, like I said, butter is for flavoring, vegetable is to stop the butter from burning. Then I go ahead and add the onion. Now this onion was chopped with a chopper. So that's the two. So it's the onion for cooking the stir fry, I don't mind blending it. I don't mind using a chopper to chop it, but the one for the after cooking, I like to chop that one with my hands. So once I add my onion, I go ahead and add my Scotch bonnet peppers. So now the Scotch bonnet peppers, depending on your pepper level or your heat level, I'm not asking you to do what I'm doing here, just depending on your heat level. Again, like I've always said in my other videos, if you don't want your Scotch bonnet peppers to be that hot, go ahead and remove the seed and the membrane, and that's it. And then dice it however it is that you want. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm adding the green beans that I cut up earlier. Now notice how thinly all the vegetables are, because the couscous the grains are really small. I like for the vegetables to match them, so it doesn't feel like I'm eating carrots and grains of it. Doesn't even feel like I'm eating like chunks of vegetables and then couscous on the. No, I really don't like that feeling. So next up, I add some of the carrots. I also use this method of chopping my vegetables when I'm making basmati fried rice. I just want everything to be uniformed. So almost like when you're scooping everything, like you can just see everything. That they're all uniformed. So this stir fry, it's almost like you're making Nigerian fried rice, or it's almost like you're making my version of prawn fried rice. So yeah, so go ahead and cook that for about a minute or two. At this point, I am cooking on medium to low heat, or should I say low heat? I'm cooking on low heat. I will tell you when to crank up the heat. So once this has cooked for about a minute, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the couscous into the pan. I mean, this is such a quick and easy meal. It's not a fussy meal. It doesn't take a lot of time. This takes about 30 minutes or so to put together, including prepping and everything. Just takes about no, not including prepping. Yeah, including prepping if you are that fast. It takes about 30 minutes to put together. Yes. Now the next thing I'm going to try and do is I'm just going to start to flavor the vegetables. Now you can start to season with salt, black pepper, but what I like to do is I like to add just garlic at this point, and then continue to cook that until the garlic becomes fragrant, and then I know that it's ready for me to boom and start to add my couscous. Now go ahead and add the couscous. I like to do this in batches, just so that I don't get overwhelmed with stirring. So I do this in 2 batches. I add the first batch, stir that to combine, just to make sure that I'm breaking up all the remaining lumps in the couscous. Remember, I told you that while you were fluffing, you don't really necessarily have to fluff it up. So this is the part where you can just break up the remaining lumps that you have. That's if you didn't completely fluff off your couscous. So once I have stirred this and seen that it's combined, so here it just looks like the veggie is more than the couscous, and I think that it can take more couscous. I mean, this is good if you want your couscous to look like this, but yeah, it wouldn't hurt to add the remaining couscous. So next up, I'm going to add the remaining couscous to this pan, and of course continue to break apart the lumps that I see in the pan. One of the reasons why I stopped buying couscous outside is that I found that one of my favorite places to get couscous had started to overcook, or they were overcooking the couscous. The vegetables were too big for my liking. It just felt like they weren't putting any thought to it anymore. And so I said to myself, why do I have to continue or consistently have to buy couscous from this person when I can equally just try to replicate it at home? So yeah, I remember the first time I made this for my sister. She was hooked on it. She was like, oh my god, this is such a discovery. And so it just became a staple in our home. Then I started to introduce this to some of my customers, and my customers were, I remember one time I made it for my friend Dami. Oh my god, Dami hasn't stopped talking about my couscous till today. Dami still raves. I mean it's how many years now, and Dami still raves about the couscous. It's been over 5 years now. That's almost 7 years, and Dami still talks about the couscous like, your couscous, this one, that one. I'm like, calm down. Anyway, once you've completely stir fried the couscous, now go ahead and add. You see the liquid I was talking about in the couscous. You need this liquid. This is liquid gold. So go ahead and add the shrimp with the liquid right into it, and this is the time that you crank up the heat. Go ahead and crank up the heat and just start to stir fry this, and you have to work really, 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 really fast as you can, or you can continue to cook this on medium to low heat. Now the reason why you need to crank up the heat at this point is you don't want that water to just sit and soak, so you need to crank up the heat so that the water just dries up, and the couscous sort of absorbs the liquid immediately. Now once you have combined the shrimp into the couscous, now this is where I like to start to introduce more butter. You don't have to add more butter here, but I love it. I love the flavor of butter, so I'm adding. So like I said, I treat this like I'm treating my fried rice. Now if you've watched my fried rice recipe, you know that this is typically the same way that I cook fried rice. Now once I'm done adding the butter, or the butter has sort of dissolved or melted into the couscous, I go ahead and add soy sauce. You can use, like I said, you can use light soy sauce, you can use dark soy sauce, you can even add oyster sauce here, but this is what I'm just doing. You can also add sesame oil, it doesn't matter, but this is what I'm sticking with. Now go ahead and add the mixed bell peppers, just for extra color and flavoring, just like so. I'll continue to stir that together. In another video I will try to explain the difference between light soy sauce and dark soy sauce, so that you don't get it confused, and so that you know what exactly to use them for in your cooking or in the kitchen. Now once you've added the soy sauce, the mixed bell peppers, again your heat should be high, because the thing about mixed bell peppers is that if you cook them on low heat, they start to release juice or water, and that's not what we want. So high heat will prevent it from releasing water into the couscous. Now once you've completely combined all the bell pepper, now this is time for you to introduce the secret, or should I say the main event into this. But again, don't forget to taste and season as you go. And after tasting, I felt like this needed some salt, so I went ahead and added some salt to this, just like so. And then of course I started to combine. Now remember, I didn't season the vegetables, I didn't season the couscous at all, so it's important that you taste and you go as you go. Now it might seem like I added a lot of salt, but I didn't. And remember, I used light soy sauce, so it's important that you taste as you go. Now if you don't want to use salt, which is something that I like to do sometimes, you can add more soy sauce or just use salt. Now once you're done combining that, go ahead and add the raisin. The reason why I'm adding the raisin is because I'm adding it now is because I want the heat to sort of cook the raisin, so that the raisin sort of plumps up as well, so that it's not dry when you eat it. It just plumps up, and the heat sort of wakes the raisin up. This doesn't add any sweetness to it doesn't impact the couscous. How do I put it? You know how sugar, when you add sugar to something and it sort of turns it sweet, it doesn't melt, it doesn't overpower or doesn't take over the flavor of the meal. There's just something about raisin in couscous, and that's one of the reasons why I love Simply Green's couscous. The depth of flavor, so you get sweet, you get savory, you get crunch, you get soft. It's just like an explosion of flavor in your mouth, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely do love it. As in, I tried it, I loved it, and I haven't looked back since then. Now once you've done combining this, this is good to go. But there's something that Green Grill does to their couscous, which is why I said I took two of my favorite couscous places and I merged some of their flavors together. Now something that Green Grill does to their couscous is they top it with fresh diced onions, and they top it with spring onions, the green part of spring onions. I don't know what I don't know what it is about this combination, but it just does. I don't know. It just, I don't know. I just don't know. The flavor that it gives this thing is, so it doesn't give you flavor like you're eating raw onion. No, of course, because you're still stir frying it, so it sort of cooks it without actually losing its crunch. The heat sort of tames the flavor without losing its crunch. And of course that green bell pepper, spring onions, takes it to a different level. And that's it. It's easy. It's just quick and easy. Your couscous is ready to serve, is ready to be enjoyed. I absolutely do love making this for my family and friends. You can totally omit the raisins if you're wary about the sweetness or the sugar content. You can totally omit it, yeah, and you will still have a delicious pot of shrimp couscous. Like I said, I will still share a recipe for my beef couscous, or should I say mixed meat couscous. We'll see. Anyways, so that's it. I hope that you liked this. I hope that you give this a try, and I hope that you enjoyed me talking you through the process of making this. And until next time, I love you munchos, and I will see you in my next video. And if you're able to make this recipe, please let me know in the comment section. I will be more than happy to hear from you. And also you can leave suggestions on the type of videos or contents that you like to see on my page. All right, bye. I love you guys.